July 18th, 2015. A neighbor calls 911 when Heather Saul seeks help after shooting Neal Falls.
Saturday, July 18th, 2015. The time, 3:34 p.m.
911, where's your emergency? What's going on there?
There's a lady in the alley here. She's saying that some guy tried to rape her, and she had to defend herself, and she shot him. She's in the kitchen. He pulled a gun on her. She's got cuts and stuff all over. Come on up the stairs, girls. Go get Daddy right now.
Where is the guy at?
She said it's in their kitchen. I live at the...
Does she know who this guy is?
Do you know who the guy is? She said no. Yeah, I opened the door. He said never talk. And he pulled it to me, and I wrestled him, and he was going to kill me.
Did he actually rape her?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
He said he tried to.
All right. What kind of weapon did he pull?
What kind of weapon was it? She said it was his gun.
Okay. Is he a white male or black male?
Is he white or black male? He's white.
White male. Does she remember what color clothing?
Do you know what color clothing? He's got jeans on. She said he's got jeans on.
Does she remember what color shirt?
What color shirt? She said no. Sorry.
It's okay. What is her name? And she left the male standing in the kitchen?
She said he's in the kitchen.
What is your name, sweetie? Stay on the phone with me another minute, okay?
Okay.
Is she bleeding from anywhere?
She looks like she has maybe some marks around her neck, and she does have a little bit of blood on, like scratches on her fingers, and there is some blood on her.
Was she able to injure him in any way?
Yes, she shot him. She says he's on the kitchen floor, in her kitchen floor.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah, she's crying. She's pretty upset. I don't know what to do.
Ask her what her address is.
Do you know where your address is?
All right.
I see an officer coming up the street now.
Can you wave him down?
Yes.
Stay on the phone with me until you have him with you.
Okay. Girls, go back upstairs, please.
Charleston, West Virginia. Heather Saul killed Neal Falls in self-defense. She was hailed as a vigilante hero and was flooded with support. When the news hit about the killing of Neal, someone robbed her thinking she had money. She said becoming an escort was a last resort, and when her phone rang that day, she wasn't sure if she wanted to answer it or not. She needed money badly, but it was Neal on the other end. Heather's friends Harley and Lisa were always at her house before people showed up. Harley would sit on the front porch for safety to be another set of eyes and ears. Lisa had left to go to the store to get a soda, and Heather's dog had gotten loose, so Harley left the porch to catch it. Neal drove up to the driveway. Once he entered the house and went into the kitchen, he noticed she was alone and stuck a gun in her side. He told her, "Live or die." He strangled her and said he had super upper strength like it wasn't his first time. He knew exactly what he was doing. She said she had never been choked like that. She went through a lot of physical abuse with other men, but Neal was on another level of horrible. She said she snapped and started screaming, telling him, "If you're going to shoot me, then you have already done it," and she knocked him off of her, and she started to dig his eyes with her nails. She remembered he didn't have any teeth. He sat on her chest this time and told her, "Now you get up and don't say nothing else." She begged him to let her breathe. She kept on fighting him, and she saw a little rake that she used to clean up outside after her dog. He went to grab it out of her hand, and that's when she noticed the gun laying on the table. She grabbed it and shot him in the head.
And he strangled me. He just wouldn't let me get any air, and so I grabbed my rake, and when he laid the gun down to get the rake out of my hands, I shot him. I just grabbed the gun and shot behind me.
She said it was slow motion when she saw his body fall to the floor, and you could hear the blood spurt out onto the floor. Her friend Lisa was running back from the store with a soda and had heard the gunshot. Heather ran out of the house and asked her to call 911, but Lisa ran away, so Heather went to a neighbor's house where they called 911. He was found dead at the scene. Heather was hospitalized with many injuries and had a broken vertebrae. Neal had a list of 6 more women when he was killed. He was to meet women online personals that hosted escort ads called Backpage. The list had ages, names, and phone numbers of the women. Inside of Neal's cars, they found knives, axes, handcuffs, a sledgehammer, a bulletproof vest, gun, bleach, trash bags, and shovels. He also was found with handcuffs in his pocket. He had a duffel bag in his car with box cutters and other items. There were reports going around about a Facebook page named BJ Ross that showed a profile of a Barbie standing over bloody and dismembered dolls, and that it was linked to a phone number used by Neal. He was stopped by Benbrook, Texas police for speeding on July 7th and was captured by a police body cam. The officer told him to slow it down, and Neal asked him if he was going the correct way to West Virginia. He had run-ins across 20 different states, but never had any criminal charges against him.
Falls was in Benbrook, very much alive.
You still at the same address here in Oregon?
Nope. I'm actually don't know where I'm headed or where I'm going right now.
Where at now?
I don't know where my next stop.
This is the only point where the camera shows Neal Falls. The man police now suspect is a serial killer targeting prostitutes across the country. Falls tells the Benbrook officer he doesn't have a current mailing address.
Just living out of your vehicle?
Until I get to West Virginia.
Where you say you're headed to?
West Virginia.
West Virginia, huh? Alright. Slow down through here.
Am I going the right way? 30?
Yes, sir, you are.
Alright, thank you.
Alright.
Police in Nevada and West Virginia set up an investigation of a possible link between Neal and 3 prostitutes that were killed in Vegas between 2003 and 2006, since he lived there as well. There was also a 4th prostitute that went missing and was never found. Misty Marie Sands disappeared August 2003. She was 25 and her partial remains were found in the desert. Jody Marie Brewer was 19, disappeared around the same time as Misty. Her torso was found wrapped in plastic near Interstate 15 near the border. Lindsay Marie Harris, 21, disappeared in May of 2005. Her legs were found near Interstate 55 3 weeks later after her going missing. Jessica Edith Foster, 21, missing since March 2006, still hasn't been found. In April 2006, police went to see Peter Todd, Jessica's boyfriend, since he was the last person to see her. He allowed them to search his home. Jessica wasn't there and all her clothes were missing. Peter said she moved out. There were rumors that Peter was her pimp and abused her. Peter's brother James also lived in the same house and was accused along with this brother, knowing they knew what was going to happen to Jessica. James said that he wanted his name out of all the talk about Jessica and he never interacted with her. He also said accusing his brother of being an abuser and a pimp was nonsense. Jessica's mother said she doesn't believe that she was one of Neal's victims, but was a victim of sex trafficking. Her mother became an outspoken supporter of anti-trafficking laws and made an advocacy group, Mothers Against Trafficking in Humans. A task force also came to Charleston from Ohio because there were also 4 dead women and 2 others missing they believe could be linked to Neal as well. Tamika Lynch went missing in May 2014 and she's found dead in Paint Creek. Shasta Heimlerich was missing in December 2014. She was found dead in the Scioto River. Kimberly Claytor went missing and found dead in Masseyville in May 2015. Timothy Sayre was last seen in May 2015 and was found dead in a creek in Highland County. Charlotte Trigo and Wanda Lemons went missing in 2014 and have yet to be found. In 2016, a man named Jason McCrary was charged with the murder of Kimberly Claytor. They were partying and having sex. Later on, Kimberly smoked the last bit of his crack, so he shot her in the head 3 times. He said he didn't get a fair trial because he felt he was found guilty already because of all the media and his face splashed all over as a serial killer. They went through 160 jurors and still had trouble finding people that didn't hear about the case. One juror said she couldn't continue. She was the only black juror. Jason was a convicted sex offender with a long criminal record. He was given 18 years and then another 10 years because he was a repeat offender. The Missing Women's Task Force issued a warrant for Ernest Dollarbill Moore. He turned himself in. He had felony charges filed against him for torturing a man in Ohio. The man went at Ernest's house to buy some drugs and was duct taped. He was then put in a duffel bag and taken to another house. He was kicked, punched, raped with a broomstick, burned with silverware that was heated on the stove, burned with lighter fluid, and burning hot water. He was able to escape the next day and taken to a hospital. He suffered second-degree burns. He was in a drug debt with Ernest, and it was payback. The police said they believed Ernest had some information about the missing and dead women, but he wasn't a suspect. His criminal past includes drug possession and drug trafficking in Ross County and city of Chickalith, Ohio. He pled guilty to the pure torture case and received 10 years. He also pled guilty to a single count of conspiracy to distribute heroin to drug traffickers in Gallipolis and Point Pleasant, West Virginia. He was given 14 years and 4 months consecutive to the 10-year sentence. Police said since most of the women were known drug dealers, Ernest knew them all. Neal's former landlord, Pauline, says she rented a room to him, and the first thing he did was change the dead vulture's room so that he would have the only key. He passed a background check before being allowed to move in. She said in his application he listed that he worked for a security company in a Hilton hotel. She also said that he worked a graveyard shift and slept all day. About after a year living there, he brought in a dog and didn't get her permission. She said the way he left the dog alone all the time is what concerned her, and he was always keeping it in the car and training the dog in a weird way. She made an excuse and said she was selling the house, so he had to leave. She didn't want to be in the same house with him anymore. She said she never went inside her tenants' rooms, but she wished she would have to see what was exactly in there. Little creepy, very tightly lipped, and not a chummy guy. Definitely not a chummy guy, she said. Somebody who doesn't like to be exposed. Neal Falls didn't leave much of a paper trail or digital trail since he used disposable phones. As time passed, it became harder to gather evidence. He is still listed as a suspected serial killer.